and welcome to this episode of Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about one of Hampton's newest and now one of our biggest festivals. We have with us from the Buckroe Beach Reggae Festival, Crystal Selby, who's one of the organizers, and Kerri Thurman, who enjoys the festival and actually nominated them for one of the city's Unity Awards, which you guys won. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So a lot of people, I think, haven't heard of this yet. I mean, it came up a little more than a year ago, and it was about 2 to 3 times the size that anybody, or at least anybody in the city, expected. You guys may have known it was going to be huge. And then this year, I hear you grew again. So tell me just a little bit, Crystal, about how the Buckroe Beach Reggae Festival came about.
First of all, I'd like to thank Kerri for nominating us and being here today. It's great.
You're welcome.
Buckroe Beach Reggae Festival came about. There's 5 of us, and really, I think it was a brainchild of all of us. And then one day, we were all fortunate enough to connect and expand on it. So there's Seco Francis. He's an ex-DJ from Hampton University's 88.1. He's also the leader of Virginia Reggae. They recognize all reggae in the state of Virginia. My mother, Cindy Brown, she works with Parks and Recreation. My sister, Shelly Brown, she's a VCU graduate out of Richmond, and myself. So we all work really hard.
Yes, then, really,
it is. We are a big
guys.
family. It's a grassroots movement, so it's just a lot of brainstorming and connecting with the community to make it happen.
How did it get to be so big? I mean, the first year you had about 5,000 people. That is incredible for a first-year music festival.
People love reggae music. It's a very positive message. It's very family friendly. So you get to connect with grandparents and parents who want to bring their children. The children love the music. It makes them dance and shake their feet.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, and we also work very hard to make sure that we have a free kids area, lots of activities, not only for the younger children, but for the teenagers as well, to entice everybody. So the whole family wants to come, and I think that's really the greatest aspect about it.
Well, and the beach is kind of a perfect draw for reggae music too. It's not, you know, an indoor concert so much as being outside, experiencing nature, having that kind of laid back atmosphere.
And when most people think of reggae, they think of Jamaica, the Caribbean. So the whole setting with Buckroe Beach is just perfect for this type of event.
Right, it's great. Now, what drew you to the event, and how did you, what made you nominate them?
Well, many, many years ago when I attended VCU, and I didn't know your sister attended VCU, I heard my first reggae band. And the music just impacted me because it was very spiritual, it was very peace-filled, and it spoke a lot about love and unity. So over the past 20-some years, I have always attended and supported local artists, attended concerts with international and national artists amongst this genre of music. So when I heard about the Buckroe Beach Reggae Festival, I knew that I had to be there, first of all. And it was also enticing to me because I knew that it was an event that I could attend with my daughter, who's 10 years old. And what made it even better was that it was very peaceable, without incident, and the same thing repeated again this year. So it has been like a continuous love-filled unity fest, so to speak.
Well, I did hear after that first year when there was issues with more crowds than were expected, there were parking issues, but there were no complaints of any other problems. It was just sort of, wow, that's a lot more people than we expected, and how can we prepare better? And you said the city did prepare better for the second year, but that the crowd went from 5,000 to
15,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
That is really amazing.
And we were afraid nobody were going to come last year. So you don't know how to judge a first-time event. You've never done it before.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I read maybe on your Facebook site that there were completely different acts. Like there was a little bit of complaint, well, we loved so-and-so last year, why didn't you have them back? And your reason was?
We want to keep it fresh. There is a lot of local talent here in the state of Virginia. We're blessed to have it. You have just, you know, a lottery pot of great musicians out there. So we wanted to keep it fresh. We didn't want to repeat any bands from last year. And so, you know, even though the fans loved some of the bands and they missed out, they still were lucky enough to have their presence there and on stage as well. So all of the local reggae bands like to work together. So if you attended the event, you might have seen your favorite singer up on stage singing with some other bands.
So. Oh, so there was a lot of give and take and sharing. Do you think this is part of a, not resurgence, but a growing popularity of reggae music? I mean, it's a little more mainstream, I think, than it was certainly 20 years ago when you first heard it.
It is now, but when you think of like iconic artists like Bob Marley, who performed back in the 60s and 70s, still to this day there are youth and even adults that are still listening to his music. And I like the fact that he represented reggae music with love and with peace and from a spiritual perspective. And I think that's what's inspired a lot of our local artists in the area to continue playing this type of music.
I find that mainstream nowadays is not always the most positive thing. It's not always, I have 4 children, and I'm not always very happy with them listening to the radio. So I think you see parents searching for outlets that are more positive for their children. The music that we try to keep at our festival is very conscious music, roots reggae music, positive. It's not going to tell you bad things. So you're happy to share it with your children. You're happy to have it in your family. And I think that people are looking for more of those positive aspects in social life today. So I think that's what's bringing it back. Interesting.
So it's maybe more available and more outlets and more festivals, but reggae won't ever fit into that sort of mainstream radio, because it isn't, really that. But I do hear more and more. Some of the summer street fest parties, I think they have reggae bands, and it's easier to find. But you're saying it is still that roots.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have a particular favorite local band, or are you allowed to say?
Nature's Child. I can't put them down at all. I just had them play at my wedding. They've been a favorite for a long time. So and they're just wonderful.
And they just won
Favorite
band of the year at the Virginia Reggae Awards, which were held last year.
And
very deserving.
Was that in Hampton?
That was in Hampton.
That's what I thought.
Park.
Yes.
Do you think there's a particular, is Hampton a good location for this, or is it just where you guys happen to be, where some of the grassroots groups are?
I think you find a lot of things going on the south side. So Hampton doesn't have a lot of those events that the south side does. Town Point Park is filled with wonderful things. Portsmouth Pavilion's doing wonderful things. So to find a whole lot of things that are happening in Hampton outside of Bay Days, which is wonderful. Everybody looks forward to Bay Days every year. And then you have the Coliseum. You don't have a lot of those outside park summer day concerts. So Hampton's a beautiful area to have those things. So it's a nice area, and I think it's a good middle point between the south side, and then you have Williamsburg and the Richmond area. So it draws people to the area. It's not as busy as the south side. So
exactly.
A little more laid back.
Right, and it's very diverse, so it would make sense for that type of music to be showcased or played in this area.
Right. And both of you mentioned that you're also moms, and that this is very much a family environment and a family thing for you. What is it about reggae music that makes that work?
Oh, I would think that it always sends a positive message, and it's very uplifting. In some ways, it's kind of similar to like country music or blues. You may be feeling down, you're going through something, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's a very consistent message for this type of music, which is something I want my daughter to hear.
Exactly.
So what did it mean to you guys when you won the Unity Award? Was that something you had expected? Did she tell you she was nominating you?
No, I didn't know until we won. My mom called. She said, "Did you hear?" And I just didn't know. And to be recognized for all of our hard work is just wonderful. It feels really wonderful, because we work very hard to make this just an open, loving, caring, kind environment. So to be recognized for that, and then that's always been a compliment from the first event, is the diverse crowd and how everybody had a smile, and it didn't know if you didn't know somebody, they were still going to talk to you and greet you with a smile. Exactly. And so, you have Mohawks, and you have hula hoop girls, and you have old Rastas, and just everybody's happy. happy, grandparents to grandchildren. So it's a very diverse crowd, and to be recognized for Unite in the Community. Our message from day one has been community unity. To be recognized for that's wonderful.
That is a perfect fit. Well, what do you guys have planned next? What will we see coming up?
We look. It's always nice. There's a lot of great nonprofits in the area, so we look to support more of those. We support a lot of civic associations as well. Working with more of the schools, we've been working with the Hampton City School Steel Drum Ensemble. Some of the Baptist church in the area had a great steel drum ensemble. There's dance groups. We want to incorporate more youth activities into it. So you'll see us getting bigger and better and doing more special things. And
I saw there were several youth participating in this year's festival on the list. When I went through the list of entertainment, you guys worked with a lot of community groups for that. So one a year at the Buckroe Beach is the current plan, or do you think there'll be other activities like the one you did at the Coliseum? Or
we're looking.
Too soon to say. Okay.
We're looking to do more things, yes. So we've been told we should have festivals all year long, and
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It probably won't be quite a festival size all day thing, but you might catch us for a couple hours doing something pretty neat. So.
Well, good. That sounds great. And keep us posted so we can help let people know.
Great. Thank you.
And congratulations again on your Unity Award.
Thank you.
Thanks
you so
for
much. Having us. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Kerri, and thank you, Crystal. I really appreciate you coming by and sharing with us, because a lot of people don't get out, may not know much about reggae music, and maybe they'll think, maybe next time I could go do that. That might be interesting, and they'll stop by.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for stopping by this episode of Round Robin. I hope you'll come back.